My mother, we are your children. We're asking for information, love, and blessings. And I'm personally asking for a broader perspective on the way things are on this planet, or the way things are being perceived that are on this planet. Assistance from the point of view of soul, in place of the heart. Help us to strengthen and come from that place of integrity with confidence, being able to serve each other and enhance the awareness of our own being for our self-realization. We thank you. Oh, peace. Amen. So at these little ones, we talk to you, yes, on a continuum of how it is that the human is incarnating and bringing with them as much as they can possibly bring because of the capacity of their brain to reawaken in the next incarnation. Then it is that you have a circumference, or you have a boundary around yourself, because you can only remember so much from other cycles, right? So the boundaries need to be permeated by some force, something that takes you beyond what we did call for years the books, yes? Take you beyond your books, beyond your circumference, into a greater state of awareness, which means that dropping all the preconceived notions is a great big part of what's happening for the human as they go from being in the everyday consciousness into the higher dimensions or the higher consciousness. And when you decide, absolutely decide, that this consciousness to which you have been paying attention or participating in is not where you want to be. It is not what it is that is serving you in the highest degree, and that you desire with all of yourself to move on and move beyond it. You make a commitment that is from your heart and your mind to be in a frequency, for lack of better words, to be in a vibration, to be in converging dimensions where it is that there is no formulation whatsoever. There is just an expansiveness that contains it all, or the part of self that is going into superconsciousness. Superconsciousness is not something you read about in a comic book. It is about the part of yourself that is beyond what you could possibly even conceive of. So once it's even shown in a meditation or in a vision, in a reality check, once it's even shown to you, you still would not know. You still would not be able to label it or discuss it with anyone. And so there are many experiences that each one of you in this room has on a daily basis now that you cannot discuss with other people. You would like to, but it gets watered down. That's one way to say it. But it gets the energy gets diffused, or there aren't the right words to express what it is that you are bringing in from the patterns that you have perceived within your consciousness. It's not even really a brain food that is going on. So giving yourself permission to be in the unknown is a really great big part of where it is that the human is going. Self-realization comes in increments according to how it is that the human is adjusting themselves to their way of being and noticing and not judging, but eliminating from their patterns those ways of being, habituations, etc., that are very much controlled, that are very much a stable part of the everyday reality, because those things become a framework and they lead into the next step in your framework. You want to get beyond the frameworks that you have created. Yes, people feel safe, or they can calculate time, and they can depend on this or that, perhaps, yes. But it's not about that at this point in time. It's about self-realization, which means you are part of everything. You've been told that. At points in historical memory, you will know that you have had an experience, that you feel like a tree, or you saw the bird and you felt like you had wings. These things happen. But the energy of you knowing that you are in a continuum of ethers, yes, that are lending themselves to every single experience that is going on the planet and beyond. To know that is a totally different set of circumstances. And so you can't describe that part of yourself. You can't share that part of yourself. You really just need to be in the experience of what is going on inside of self in that moment. And you may or may not remember it. You know, some of the really best dreams, they come for a split second and then they disappear. And this reality that is being constructed here and now by the thought patterns of people. All right, so all of reality is about thoughts that manifested into this dimension, right? That's how it works. So then there are a lot of thoughts that are just adjusting other people's comprehension, giving them details that are, let's say, they're not even seen, but they're described or they're spoken about in many different ways by many different people. And they are opinions for the most part, or they are partial truths, and they come in and take a great amount of energy from the people that are listening to them, and therefore the person in the exhaustion be like a small child coming home, just wants to be home, just wants to be hugged, just wants to be there, just wants to find the answer, just wants to know that everything is okay. And that's where humanity is being driven to at this point in time by those that are in a greater picture beyond the planet, right? It isn't the whole picture. It isn't the way it has to be. It is a grand opening into that space that you are now going to be able to choose. Perhaps in the meditation, one or two of you experience that as you take in the breath and you let it expand behind the navel, in the Dantian there, that the energies begin to dissipate, and the energy of the full breath that you have taken is now within your body. And when you go to release the breath, there's very little breath to come out because you have used it all for yourself. Now that's not something you were taught to do, is it? Take it and use it for yourself. But we're going to tell you right here and now. It's the most important thing you can learn to do so that you can make a choice. There are a few times when it is that you want to run out and go help someone because they are in distress. But for the most part, each human is causing their own distress at this point in time by what it is they're choosing to focus on. Right? So if you take your energy and you know you can hold it within and you can use it to expand your own consciousness and to redirect your energies to make your aura stronger so that your intensity of your toroidal field and your intensity of your connection to this planet is going to expand, and it's going to be able to serve in a way in which the vibrations rise. All right? So it's not a bad thing to be within yourself and bring all of these awarenesses. No, it is incredibly useful because that form that you have been living in, that physical body, and that expression in the physical has to do with mostly safety, mostly maintenance of self, mostly the restrictions that are given to each one from day to day. And so you bring along your karmic pattern, and your karmic pattern has within it certain subtleties, we'll say, but certain vibrational ways in which you respond. So it's response. And of course you pick out the parents when you're born, so you have the right set of responses that will start to get accumulated so that you can use that to dissipate your karma. When you finally say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. It's very necessary. No, I'm not doing that anymore. Once you can signal to yourself that there are ways in which your energy is being expended into the world like rivers running into deserts, and it's not bringing anything in return, and we're not talking personal return, we're talking about energetic return at this point in time, then you recognize, yes, there are ways in which I can participate in this world more fully, or I can participate in the entirety of the unity consciousness with more credibility is one word, but the more you do it, the more you connect to that reality beyond the physicality, the more you're going to be able to access the intensity of your true self. And that intensity of your true self is above and beyond any of the threats that exist on the planet of Earth now, or any of the comprehensions that humans have had in the past. Even if you take on something like the Great Flood with the Ark, etc. That's a big one, yes, or meteorites hitting the planet from wherever they might come. Remember that this is a reality you're participating in, and that once you're no longer participating in it, what is that thing called death? It is the night of cosmic awareness. That's all it is. Here you're sitting in the light in the day with this particular body, and then you have that aspect of yourself that moves into the cosmic darkness. Now, a lot of people are having trouble sleeping, sleeping very well or being comfortable in their sleeping. And some of that has to do with the unfinished business of the day, because the ego is using a cap of mental disturbances that will trigger certain activities in the body, whether it's an organ or it's a twitch or a bob, So give yourselves permission to know that you have much more power than you have been using, and that when you take it and you diligently place it within the self and say, this is what I am doing and this is what I am doing now, and my intention is to build the part of myself that is unseen by others, the part that cannot get any appreciation from the rest of the world, the part of me that probably isn't going to make any more money or isn't going to make me feel more comfortable. But I am going to do that because I really get the feeling that expansion and connection into the universe is a type of salvation, a saving of yourself in a way in which you become more than you thought you were. And it's a continuum. You don't become something and stay there in this universe. No. It's a continuum. I am more than I thought I was. I am more than I thought I was yesterday. I am more. And you accent that and use it and do it daily, and you will bring to yourself an awareness, a realization. The physical body is minimal, very minimal, and it only contains within it all the karmic bonds that you have created in many life cycles. That's what a body is. It's a karmic bond. So unless you pay attention to the troubles of the body, and the more you just feed it what you know is good for it, and look at what you know makes you feel joyful, and breathe and do the things that give the body a sense of its own integrity, which is the earth, the water, the fire, the air. Integrity, it's these balances. Integrity of the earth. If there's too much water, it gets slippery. If there's not enough water, it gets dry and sandy, etc. There's a type of balance, and your body has a type of balance that when you're in it and when you're experiencing it, you know it. And when you get to that place of integrity inside of yourself, that's when you don't have to worry about running to meditation to make yourself feel better, or running to the medicine cabinet to take a pain away. You recognize, I am more than I think I am, and I haven't really accentuated that part of my life, and I haven't really taken into myself the thought patterns that I have been able to tap into, and I know on some level they are truth, but I haven't really made them mine. Right? They're thoughts from books, they're thoughts from other people. Right? So taking that in, and small meditations on a particular idea or concept is very worthwhile. They can be done in 5 minutes, and you can know to yourself. And the way your signals go from your own integrity may be in color, they may be in sounds, they may be in feelings of your body, they may be in many different ways. But you get the message, what is right for you. But you have to ask. You have to ask, what is right for me right now? And it isn't someone outside that's going to tell you that. It's going to be this cosmic creation here that is your karmic bond to the planet. It needs to be grounded so that it stays healthy and happy, but it has all the information. That they say in the heart has all the information of the Akashic records, etc. Not too many people have experienced that. And who is the they? All right, it's not really people. It is the experience of all the past and all the karmic experiences that are collected within the Akashic records or within that magnetic field that has all that information in it, and you can tap into that. And that is not physical, right? You have a heart and it has the antenna for that, right? But it's not stored in your heart. It's stored in the ability of your heart to connect. When does the heart connect? When the body feels at home, in comfort, in perhaps meditation, yes, sometimes it happens. It can be lucid dreaming. It can be a complete state of relaxation that you are experiencing. Any of that. But meanwhile, you have the ability, and to have these abilities and not use them, that is where the problems can still cover a great amount of your life, can cover a lot of ground in your life. Right? So decide what you want and go for it. That's the important part of everything that we're talking about.